Today on Larry King Now, real estate mogul Branden Williams.
My father moved out here from Miami because he wanted to be an actor. And on the side, he sold sheepskins. I would work the corners with him. And it was great training for now real estate because your energy is your time.
What's the best thing about working in real estate?
Getting to know what makes them tick and advising them properly. And then in 5 or 10 years when they want to sell, making them more money.
Plus, a quote or phrase that inspires you.
In the creative state of being, there's no such thing as distractions, just the potential for inspiration.
All next on Larry King Now. I'm Larry King, and my guest today is Branden Williams, co-owner of Williams & Williams Estates Group. With more than $1 billion in sales, Branden operates his family-established real estate company alongside his wife and business partner, Rayni. Branden specializes in high-end real estate with celebrity clientele like Jeremy Renner, Bruce Willis, Jennifer Lopez. He's also a philanthropist, serves on the board of directors for the Zimmer Children's Museum. Branden's being interviewed here with us today as a winner of a charity auction for the Brent Shapiro Foundation. Is there a key to success in the real estate business, which so many people seem to want to get into?
Well, first of all, I just want to say thank you for having me on.
My pleasure.
I've always been a tremendous, huge fan of yours. Key to success, you know, what I've learned really in real estate and in life, I believe in order to be the best, for me, your word means everything. And I think when I give people my word means everything. I don't need contracts, even though we have contracts, but my word means everything. And I think being as healthy and having a clear channel and a clear spirit will get you to the other side of where you're going a lot faster.
You do it together with your wife, right?
Yes, I do.
Did it start that way when you were married?
We actually met, I've been doing real estate now for 13 years, and we met the first week at our office, and I loved her style, I loved her fashion. I originally went to school for fashion, and we met, and instantly we just connected and bonded, and we kind of started teaming up right after the very beginning by accident, never intending to, and it just kept flourishing and flourishing. And here's a little real estate story just right off the bat. Right in the first 6 months of real estate, we were at the Beverly Hills Hotel eating lunch, and I saw a guy sitting there with his wife looking at real estate listings, and my partner at the time, Rayni, looks over and says, oh, he's looking at listings. So I got up, I'm like, hey, where are you guys from? He said he's from Paris. And he was sitting there with a bodyguard, and he was probably in his 60s, and he had a young wife, and he had a Chinese daughter. And I said, oh, what's going on? He goes, we're devastated. We just lost this listing because our realtor told us not to offer full price. The guy turns out to be Johnny Holiday. I put 2 and 2 together that I knew which house he liked through knowing the inventory. I knew what house he liked. I said, I have a better house that's coming on the market. All of a sudden, I was in his bungalow. 5 minutes later, we were in the car. I was showing him this property, and it turned out to be a $6 million deal at the time, and this was roughly in 2006. And the guy looked around the property, looks at the kitchen, living room, and throws me the thumbs up, sits on the couch, and lights up a cigarette and says, offer full price, this is my house. And I didn't even know who the guy was yet. And so that's kind of the story of our real estate success.
You began helping your father sell sheepskin car covers?
Yeah, so I grew up, my mother and father were always on and off again until about 4th or 5th grade, and they split up. And my father moved out here from Miami because he wanted to be an actor. And on the side, he sold sheepskins. And he was one of those guys in the 80s that sold, and 90s, that sold sheepskin car covers. They were very popular at the time. And so ever since I was about 6 years old, I would work the corners with him. And I would have to size people up in 30 seconds on the corner. And by the time I was about 8 or 9 years old, I became very, very good at it. And I could make big sales. And it was great training for now real estate because your energy is your time. Time is everything.
You were interested, though, in fashion and architecture, right?
Yeah, I love fashion.
What switched you out of that?
I had to get a job and make money after school, and I also got into acting for a brief time. I studied method acting, and I basically took all of that and put it into real estate.
Oh, what's the best thing about working in real estate?
Working with the people, helping people.
Because you're part of their best investment of their lives. Right?
Yes. So getting to know people, getting to know what makes them tick, and advising them properly, and then in 5 or 10 years when they want to sell, making them more money because I said, see, I was right. This was your house. This was the best location. And now you're making, millions of dollars more. So not only was it a great home and it was great for your family, but now you're also making money on top of it. Boats, planes, cars usually tend to go down. Homes in the right locations, if there's downturns in markets, but if you buy right, you're going to usually.
What do you make of this constant scale up in Beverly Hills?
Beverly Hills is an international city. I think everybody at one point in their life wants to own a home in Beverly Hills. Pretty Woman, incredible movies. That's a big calling card. And I think people on the East Coast or in Europe during the wintertime are like this, and they see palm trees and they see beautiful things and people, and they go, I want to live there one day. I want to own a house one day. So I think if you become successful, it's kind of like a bucket list.
You do all your own showings, handle all accounts. Don't you have people working for you?
I have about 10 people. I have an amazing team. I actually work for Rick Hilton at Hilton Highland. I have my own division called Williams & Williams at Hilton Highland. I know he's a good friend. I've met you at his party a few times. But yeah, we have our own team. I do the majority of, I'm out. I don't think anybody could show as many properties. I'm out there and I could probably show 15 properties in a day. And that's what I do normally. I'm just running from property to property and in between making about 350 phone calls a day.
When we get back, Branden and I will discuss his company, Williams & Williams Estates Group. Stick around. My guest is Mr. Williams, Branden Williams. What a story. All right, what is Williams & Williams Estate Group?
That is my wife and I, and we have a team of about 10 other agents and people marketing that help us bring the whole team together. And I don't know, we've done the highest sale ever in Los Angeles, the $110 million sale on Carbon Beach. We did the highest sale in Beverly Hills for $70 million, the Minecraft house. We've broken about 6 records in the city.
What is the mission of the company?
I think the mission of the company is to really help others. I've always looked at it as we are providing a service, as like a doctor, like I was helping people really figure out where they want to be and the best place. I believe in energy, and I believe that every home, every area has a certain energy. And I believe if you could really crack that code faster than the next guy, because it's a competitive business.
And you work as hard on a $250,000 home as you will on a $2 million home?
For me, it's about working with the right people. I don't look at my checks. I just do the right thing and keep pushing forward, and all the right things then happen.
So what matters is the people.
For me, it's always been about the people, the right people.
What's it like to work with your wife?
Honestly, it's incredible. I could never have done it without her. I probably wouldn't have been in the business. I'm so blessed. My wife is an incredible person. Not only is she smart, she's beautiful. She's an amazing saleswoman. She pushes me, and I have truly found my life partner, which is, I think, pretty incredible. And people all the time go, don't you guys want to kill each other? And yes, we do sometimes want to kill each other, but I wouldn't have it any other way. And I truly mean that. And love my wife.
You have children?
Yes, 2 kids.
What's the biggest challenge you face?
I've always been a competitor, and I always want to be number one. We're number one at our office, and like I said, we've sold the most expensive home. We broke several records, and we tend every year to sell more than pretty much everybody else. And I'm just that guy that wants to just keep pushing and figuring it out and being faster than the next guy. The challenge is for me is really finding the time to give to myself and my family and working that together. But I seem to do it very well. I don't drink. I'm actually sober, and the Brent Shapiro Foundation is very big to me, helping others. I've been sober now for almost 14 years. May 1st will be 14 years.
Were you alcoholic?
Yes. I like to drink. I like to party as a kid, and I realized when I was almost 30 years old that if I kept doing what I was going to do, that I'd probably put a bullet in my head. And my father had drug and alcohol issues and family members, and I decided one day, you know what? I'm going to try for the next 2 years to be completely clean and sober. And that was kind of everything that propelled me in my life and put me on the right track and truly living in God's energy.
That's great of you to give back.
Love it. It's one of my favorite things in the world is to help another alcoholic out, another drug addict out, because I hear so many amazing stories of so many talented people, and I see it around in this town, growing up in Los Angeles and Beverly Hills, and I watch drugs and alcohol completely derail their entire lives.
Brent was the son of Bob Shapiro, the famous lawyer, and he died of an overdose.
Yeah, and to me, it was a freak accident. Brent had been sober, I think, for 3 or 4 years. I had just talked with Brent about 2 weeks before, and we were sitting on a park bench talking about sobriety, and we had such a great conversation of how much we love it and all this, and we were talking, and Brent fell off somehow or another and did 1 tab of ecstasy. That's it. 1 tab. In all terms, it wasn't that big of a deal. It wasn't like the guy was shooting up heroin. And that 1 tab of ecstasy was a freak accident. He didn't wake up and killed him. And it's so sad because Brent reminded me a lot of myself. He loved people. He had great energy. He loved giving back, and he was one of those guys that wanted to help. He would give his shirt off his back to others, and that's what Brent was, that guy.
Yeah. Anything you change about your company if you're starting over now?
You know, I think really the best way to learn is from the bottom to the top and through trial and error.
Did you take a lot of risks?
We do take a lot of risks. We also develop homes. My wife and I have developed about 10 properties.
Where you build it?
Yeah, where we build it. We actually.
Is that called spec?
Yeah, spec homes. We actually just sold one for $33 million in the Hollywood Hills. It was north of Fairfax in the Hollywood Hills. It was an unproven area. We got $3,300 a square foot, which was a record breaker in that area, but we created something absolutely spectacular, and we hired Lenny Kravitz to be the interior designer on it. I think it turned out to be a really, really cool house.
Have you lost money?
We've lost money.
Specking.
Yes, we've broken even, and it's part of the gig. You gotta burn and learn. But that's what makes it fun, and you got to be prepared for it.
Do you think you and your wife would do better apart?
No, absolutely not.
Because you're a true team.
We're a true team. When I get burnt out and I work, the real problem with our job is residential real estate is weekends. It's 24/7, till morning till night. And with these new smartphones, there's no time off. And now the clients have all the access like you have. So it's never ending. And on the weekends, when you want to just take Sunday off and people want to see, and people come in from different places like the East Coast and like, we're here. You can't say no. Otherwise, there's the next guy.
And it's the buy of their life.
Yeah.
After the break, we'll discuss what it takes to be a great leader and run a successful company, all while running a family. Stick around. Back with Branden Williams, a terrific businessman, a great realtor. He and his wife. Does the family come first?
Family comes first.
But if you're busy 7 days a week, running Sundays here on the phone, how old are the kids?
Kids are 4 and 1. I have a daughter, Viviana, and a son, Gianni.
Viviana and Gianni.
Yeah,
Italian.
My wife's Italian.
Okay, do you devote a lot of time to them, or are you away a lot?
When I am not working, I'm with my family. And once in a while, I like to surf, I like to snowboard, and I like to race cars, but that's once in a while. But I'm always home when I'm not working, and we live right in the area where we sell, so I get to stop in and check in on them. and I'm taking my family skiing, so we'll be together for a full week. I'm gonna try not to answer my phone the whole time and really enjoy my family. And through sobriety has really taught me about being more than just being with my family, being really present with my family and really having a spiritual aspect. I like to meditate and pray with my son and my daughter, and I find that very important for us.
Some addicts say they're addicts all their life. They just day to day.
Well, I'm an addict in everything I do, whether it's working, whether it's fashion, whether it's architecture.
Compulsive.
Yeah, it's never enough.
Do you ever fear you'll go back to?
For me, I feel like, well, first of all, I take it day by day. And for me, I know what happens when I'm drinking and using. My life is unmanageable. And I just know that I'm not the kind of guy, even if somebody said, oh, you're good to have a few drinks. To me, a few drinks sounds boring. I want to polish off a bottle and go get crazy. I grew up on the Sunset Strip. I grew up in Hollywood in the 80s and 90s.
So you have no desire to do that one night?
There's desires, but I have a lot of tools to fight off those desires. And what has really taught me is I could think things through and not just live in the impulsive action of the quick fix.
Were you addicted when you met your wife?
No, I met my wife fully sober, and I actually helped my wife get sober.
Oh, she was also?
She was, listen, I never had to go to rehab. I quit on my own.
Really?
I never went to rehab. But my father was the perfect example of, my father had one of the most talented guys ever. He was a top salesman, won awards at Xerox. He was an NCAA championship gymnast, and I watched drugs and alcohol derail his life. So he was that was in the back of my head, and I knew my father could be the best, and he never got what I got.
So you and Rayni are a power couple, right?
I would say so, yeah.
Okay. What piece of advice you give a young person interested in real estate?
From the bottom to the top, learn everything. Learn the market, do all the right things. There's no shortcuts. I never surprise, I never put my commission ever before my clients. I always do the right thing. I tell them there's no surprises. So they know everything by the time we close a deal. A deal's not worth a relationship. I want to be able to walk down the street and have somebody smile at me. And I could probably say out of 99.8% I could do that. I mean, there's a couple people there's like, oh, yeah, there's people that they're never going to be happy, but 99 I think that's a pretty good statistic in my business.
Where do you see yourself in, say, 10 years? You want to retire?
I don't think I ever want to retire. I'm like you, this is I'm like you.
Retire to what?
Exactly. This is fun. I maybe take a little more time for my family and do a little more sports. I also like to golf and, maybe practice on my swing, but I love fashion. I originally went to school for fashion, and my heart every day says you got to get back into fashion.
Why don't you start a fashion line?
Well, for me, it's 24/7. I still have 3 projects right now. I still have a lot of unsolved, like real estate, big deals that I want to put together. But, I take life one day at a time. And I'm so blessed in real estate because I get to dress nice. I get to work on interior design, all that. I'm more than just a realtor. I do everything. I'm the guy that will get you the guy and put everything together. And that's really what it is now. It's a full service business.
Do you ever want to go into commercial real estate?
I love commercial and I love multifamily, and I think, listen, that's how you get extremely wealthy, and I'd love to do it all, I think life is short, and I think, as we know it, live life to the fullest, and, I'm extremely happy in what we've done and where we are.
How did you beat addiction without rehab?
I did it through AA. I did it through AA and really sucking it up and really facing myself.
AA worked.
I think it's the best program.
You still go?
I still go. I still help other people. I think it is the most, it's an anonymous program. But
I know. But when you go, you visit other cities, you'll go to an AA meeting?
Oh yeah, honestly, it's my favorite. It is like church, it is like temple, but with amazing war stories. It makes me, it's incredible. And it gives you tools on how to live. It's not about getting sober, it's about staying sober and having the tools to live in this lifestyle. And this lifestyle is, there's a 98% of the stuff we do every day that we don't want to have to do. Like pay taxes, like, you know, pay people on time and do all the things you said you were gonna do.
Yeah. When we get back, I'll put Branden in the hot seat with a game of If You Only Knew right after this. We're back with Branden Williams. What a story. We play a little game, Branden, of If You Only Knew. I just throw questions at you.
Yep.
Best house you ever sold?
Probably the one that I just developed for $33 million. That would probably be, because I had so much of a part into it, from the interiors to the design.
How long did it take to sell when it was done?
It took 3 months.
A quote or phrase that inspires you?
In the creative state of being, there's no such thing as distractions, just the potential for inspiration.
Proudest moment?
Having a family.
A quality you look for in every employee?
That they want to win and they want to do the right thing.
Best advice you ever got?
Be a man of your word.
Worst advice you ever got?
Oh, don't go into real estate.
A lesson that has stuck with you?
I think really to put my sobriety first and everything else will fall into place.
Have you ever been down and out?
Oh yeah, oh yeah.
Longest stretch of time you've been awake?
Was this on drugs or off drugs? I always liked my sleep, but I'm sure I've been awake for a few days at a time.
Really?
Yeah.
Advice you would give your younger self?
Go into technology.
Oh, yeah. Someone you would strive to emulate?
I have many mentors. You're one of them.
Me? By remote?
Yeah, I love what you do, and I like what you emulate. You know, I think it's about the soul, and I think I could read people without them having to say anything. And you know, there's a lot of people that I look up to, and I try to strive to be like.
You honor me. Most embarrassing moment?
When I haven't told the truth.
We all have those little moments.
Yeah.
Something we should all be paying more attention to?
I believe we should be paying more attention to peace in this world. I'd love to see a peaceful world and take all the money that we spend on military and put it into peace and put it into fun things to do. I think people need to have more fun and get more connective together and enjoy each other more, because life is so precious.
I have a new friend.
You're the best. Thank you so much.
Thanks to my guest, Branden Williams, the Brent Shapiro Foundation charity auction winner, whose prize was to sit down here with me. Sure to catch up with me on Twitter at King's Things. And for Branden Williams and I'll see you next time.